Hello everyone and welcome back to Ask Literature, your go-to channel for all things literary. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and revolutionary theories in literature, Marxism. And Marxist literary theory is a critical framework that examines the ways literature reflects, reinforces, or challenges the socio-economic systems and class structures of its time. And through this lens, we can explore how power, economy, and ideology shape not only societies but the texts that emerge from them. So, what exactly is Marxism in literature? Let's break it down. At its core, Marxism is grounded in the ideas of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. They believe that societies are fundamentally shaped by their economic systems and that class struggle is the engine of history. For Marx and Engels, literature isn't just a passive reflection of society, but an active participant in shaping it. Literature can reveal the underlying ideologies that sustain the status quo, or it can challenge and subvert them. In Marxist literary theory, one of the key ideas is that literature should be understood in relation to the material conditions of its production. What does that mean? Essentially, it means that when we analyze a text, we need to consider who wrote it, for whom it was written, and under what socio-economic conditions. Was it created by someone from the working class or by a member of the elite? Is it addressing issues of poverty, inequality, or oppression? These questions help us uncover the hidden power dynamics at play in any given text. For example, let's consider Charles Dickens' novels, particularly Hard Times. Dickens, although not a Marxist himself, exposes the grim realities of the working class in industrial England. In Hard Times, we see the brutal exploitation of workers in a capitalist system that prioritizes profit over human well-being. This novel can be viewed through a Marxist lens as a critique of the dehumanizing effects of capitalism, even though Dickens may not have had an explicitly revolutionary agenda. But Marxism isn't just about criticizing capitalism, it's also about imagining a different world, a world where resources are shared more equitably, and where human needs are prioritized over profits. Marxist literary theorists often look for utopian elements in literature, moments where writers imagine alternatives to the harsh realities of their time. Take, for instance, the works of Bertolt Brecht, the German playwright and poet. Brecht was heavily influenced by Marxist thought, and his plays are often structured in a way that encourages the audience to think critically about the socio-political issues they depict. His famous technique of Verfremdungseffekt or alienation effect was meant to prevent audiences from becoming too emotionally absorbed in the story, so they would remain aware of the real-world issues being discussed, such as class struggle, inequality, and the need for social change. In this way, Marxism pushes us to see literature not as a self-contained world, but as a product of and a response to the real conditions of human existence. It encourages us to ask questions like, whose interest does this text serve? What economic or social systems does it support or critique? And most importantly, what can literature teach us about the possibility of a more just and equitable society? Now, Marxist criticism isn't just about focusing on working class characters or stories of poverty. It's also about analyzing how ideology, the system of beliefs that dominates a culture, is reflected in literature. Marxist theorists like Louis Althusser and Antonio Gramsci have expanded on this idea by discussing how literature can be a tool of hegemony, meaning the ways in which the ruling class maintains control by shaping the cultural values and beliefs of society. For example, let's look at Jane Austen's novels. On the surface, her works seem to focus on love, marriage, and the private lives of the English gentry. However, a Marxist critic might point out that Austen's novels also reinforce certain ideologies about class, wealth, and gender. By portraying marriage as a way for women to secure financial stability, Austen reflects the economic realities of her time. But in doing so, she also reinforces the notion that women's only path to security lies in marrying into wealth, rather than challenging the class structures that create this dependency in the first place. It's important to note that Marxist literary theory isn't monolithic. Over the years, different thinkers have developed different branches of Marxist criticism. For example, Terry Eagleton, one of the most well-known contemporary Marxist critics, combines Marxist theory with other approaches such as psychoanalysis and structuralism to explore how literature functions in complex and often contradictory ways. Eagleton argues that while literature often reflects dominant ideologies, it can also contain elements of resistance, moments where the text challenges or subverts the status quo. So what can we take away from all this? Marxist literary theory teaches us to view literature as a dynamic and powerful force, one that is deeply intertwined with the economic and social conditions of its time. Whether it's Dickens critiquing the exploitation of workers or Brecht urging us to imagine a better world, literature offers a unique window into the struggles and possibilities of human society. By analyzing literature through a Marxist lens, we not only gain a deeper understanding of the text itself, but also of the world it reflects and the world it might help us create. And that's a wrap on today's video. I hope you found this exploration of Marxist literary theory insightful. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Ask Literature for more deep dives into the world of literary theory and analysis. And as always, drop a comment below if there's a topic you'd like us to cover next. Until then, keep reading critically, and I'll see you in the next video.